Hello everyone, nice to meet you. How are you today?
I'm fine. And you?
Hello, I'm fine.
I'm fine too, thank you. I hope you're healthy and safe. First of all, let me share my screen. Can you see my screen, guys?
Yes.
All right. I hope you enjoy this meeting. Anyway, we're gonna talk about how to construct a good talk show. So let's get started. I'm sure you have even joined any talk show, or in Indonesia, we call it webinar, right? In every talk show, there are three main roles: act as moderator, speaker, and secretary. So I'll explain about moderator, speaker, secretary, and questioner. Moderator is session leader or meeting or discussion who arbitrates the discussion or problem discussion. And then presenter or speaker is someone who represents a person or an institution to provide or explain an information. Then secretary is assistant or supporting administrative profession. And then the last questioner, the person who inquires or asks or inquires. But I'm not sure that every talk show has the secretary, right? And then in the opening, as a moderator, you should greetings the audience. For example, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. And the second, you should introduce the speaker by saying, in this very special occasion, I would like to introduce the speaker to you. His name is Mr. Ardan from Universitas Negeri Semarang. Mr. Ardan would like to present his report about youth development program in Indonesia. If you used Mr. or Mrs. to call someone name, you should call her or his last name like this Mr. Ardan. Then you can choose one expression to let the speaker convey the material, like Mr. Ardan, please, or Mr. Ardan, would you please, or the last, Mr. Ardan, the floor is yours. After the speaker convey the material, moderator let the audience to ask questions related to the material. Like this, you can read it by yourself. After that, after the speaker convey the material, moderator let the audience to ask questions related to the material. Like this. Then we're going to Q&A session. If the questioner asks question too long, the moderator can interrupt by saying option 2. I'd like to remind the questioner not to waste the time, or please rephrase your question. Please get to the point. And then for the closing, moderator can say like this. And moderators should give an appreciation by giving applause to the speaker. Like, ladies and gentlemen, please give an applause to Mr. Arjan. Next, let's move on to the speaker. In the opening session, the speaker should introduce and greetings. But when the moderator have already mentioned the speaker name, the speaker shouldn't introduce her or himself again. The speaker can choose option 2. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to have a report in front of distinguished audience. And then, before the speaker starts to convey, she or he should say like this. You can choose one expression. Okay, you can read it by yourself. And then, after that, the speaker should give an explanation about purpose of this talk show. You can choose one expression too. You can read it by yourself, and then the speaker need to have permission for the audience by saying, I shall only take 10 minutes of your time, or I plan to be brief, or the less, this should only last 10 minutes. You can choose one expression. Next, before the speaker start the talk show, she or he need to explain the outline by saying, I've divided my presentation in two parts or sections. They are, or you can say, we can break this presentation down into the following fields. Next, at the last, the audience need to know when they can ask questions. So the speaker should let them know by saying, I'd be glad to answer any question at the end of my talk. If the speaker want to open question and answer on his or her end of her convey, and you can say, if you have any question, please feel free to interrupt. If the speaker open the Q&A session in the middle of her or his convey. And then as a questioner, you should say this expression before asking a question. You can choose one expression, this expression, or this, or this, or this. Next. And the speaker can give the expression like this. If the speaker have interest with the question, the speaker can say, that's a good question, or that's interesting. And then, or if the speaker can't hear the question clearly, the speaker can say like this. You can choose one expression. And if the speaker can't answer the question, she or he can denying by saying, perhaps we could deal with that later, or could we talk about that on another occasion, or I'm afraid that's not my field, or the last, that's interesting, but I prefer not to answer that today. The last, if the speaker finishing her or his answer, she or he should make sure that the answer is clear. By checking the audience acceptance to her or his answer. And that's all. So I want you to have a practice on this material. Wait. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Oh, by the way, I will choose you one by one. I will choose Rizka Shahdila as moderator, and then Fadila Octaviani as speaker, and then Dinda Fitri as secretary, and then Fajar and Tika as questioner 1 and 2. So let's continue to the practice session. Fadila, take your time.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. In this very special occasion, I would like to introduce the speaker to you. Her name is Mrs. Octaviani from Universitas Negeri Semarang. Mrs. Octaviani would like to present his report about youth development program in Indonesia. Mrs. Octaviani, the floor is yours.
All right, so good morning, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to have a report in front of distinguished audience. I'd like to talk to you today about advantages and disadvantages of online learning. The purpose of this talk is to update you on advantages and disadvantages of online learning. I shall only take 10 minutes of your time. I've divided my presentation into two parts. They are advantages and disadvantages of online learning. I'd be glad to answer any question at the end of my talk. As with the most teaching methods, online learning also has its own sets of positives and negatives. Decoding and understanding these positives and negatives will help institutes in creating strategies for more efficient delivery of the lessons, ensuring an uninterrupted learning journey for the students. Some of the advantages of having online classes are that they can be accessed anywhere and anytime. Students when they are on the go. Online classes are also more practical because only by facing the device students can get the materials and assignments given by the lecturer. With online classes, you can reduce the cost of paying for boarding houses because most students still live in their homes and can reduce the rate of spread of COVID-19. In addition to the advantages, there are also some disadvantages of online classes, namely the internet network that is different in every place. Network quality of in area materials
Fadila, your signal is unstable, right?
to in yeah. Okay, what now?
Oh, yes, yes. Continue your reading, please.
Alright, so I'll continue. The high price of internet quota is also one of the obstacles for students to buy a car at a use difficult internet access and cost in ability on screens. For many students, one of the biggest challenges of online learning is struggling with on screen with online students.
Fadila, you lost your
Social
signal,
media are also
but it's okay. Continue. Take your time.
I've done to
That's all? Are you finished your reading?
finished art. Yes.
Okay, we're going to
Yes.
next slide.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was the report from Mrs. Octaviani about advantages and disadvantages online learning. Now let's continue to the question and answer session. Before you ask a question or give a comment, please raise your hand, mention your name and your institution. For the first session, I like to give it to two people. Yes, please, the gentleman on the right and the lady on the second row.
Hello everyone, I am Fajar from Universitas Sultan Agung. Could you tell me about how do we keep our focus on online learning? Do you have some tips?
Hi, my name is Tika from Universitas Airlangga. I do like to know about if we have bad internet connection. How do we deal with it?
Okay, next.
All right. The question is interest answer your question. Some of my tips are trying to focus on the material that the lecturer explains so that when given an assignment, you can do it and know how to do. In addition, keep cell phones out of our reach so as not to play cell phones and open social media. The last tip is to take notes on the material given by the lecturer. By taking notes, we will better understand the material, and in the future, these notes will help us. Alright, so do I answer your question?
Yes. Thank you for your answer.
Okay, so let's go to the second question. That's such an interesting question. So the way to overcome a bad signal is to buy a provider that is the easiest to get a signal in your area, and look for a high place or near a tower to get signal access. Also, if you can install a Wi-Fi, it's better to install it because you will easily get a signal and the monthly fees will be more economical when compared to using a cable. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you for the answer.
Okay, next.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, because of the time, we will not have the second question and answer. Before we close, we would like to have a summary from the secretary. The secretary, please.
Okay, next.
Thank you for the opportunity. Based on today's discussion, there are questions that have been asked by Faisal and Dika, which are related to tips on staying focused on online learning and how to deal if we have a bad connection. It can be concluded that online learning has advantages and disadvantages as stated by Ms. Octaviani. So we have to think positively and live it with live it with enthusiasm, and it is hope that the students can take lesson from every situation. Stay healthy and stay safe, everyone.
Okay, next.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please give an applause to Mrs. Octaviani.
Okay, that's a good practice. I'm happy to see you guys practice this material very well. And thank you for joining this meeting. I hope you can take the advantages of this material. Stay healthy and safe, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Waalaikumsalam.